Hi everyone! Here is another video by Rob Akery, narrated by Kate for CashInPoker.com. In this video, I will show you how I apply some secret strategies and techniques to win over $11,000 in under 10 minutes. There were 4 players sitting at the table: Rohan 93, 777 Geox 777, Key 110611, and Chief Clancy. I decided to come in and play. With the blinds being $100, $200, I brought in $10,000. From now onwards, there will be moments where I'll fast forward parts of the game, where I have folded, or I am not in a game, as it is not relevant for your training. I am dealt Queen-Queen, which is the 3rd best hand in poker. Player 777 Geox has checked to me, and everyone else has folded. The right play, with a strong hand like Queen-Queen, is to make a pot-size raise. With $600 in the pot size raise would be to $200 plus $600, which equals $800. So I raised to $800. 777 Geox went all in for $3,100 more, and with a hand as strong as Queen-Queen, I'm thrilled to get my hand all in too. He turns out to have 2-2. As you can see, my chance of winning the all-in is 82% here. Whenever the chance of winning is more than 50%, it is a profitable situation. 82% is really good. All 5 cards are dealt: 3, 9, King, 8, 7, which did not help him to improve, and I won a nice $8,000 pot. The next hand, I had 5-6 offsuit, which is a bad hand, so I folded without hesitation. In this hand, as Rowan 93 sat out, and 777 Geox is waiting for his turn to return to the game became a 2-player game, or a heads-up game. My opponent, Key 110611, raised to $400. I called with King-Jack offsuit, which is a reasonably strong but not very strong hand. For more information on exactly which poker hands are good and which ones are not, watch the video Which Hands to Play and Which Hands to Fold on my website, CashInPoker.com. Alternatively, you can read Chapter 15 of the Cash in Poker book, Volume 1, where I explain this in easy-to-follow steps. The flop read 2, 5, 10. As I didn't even have a pair, I checked, with the intention of folding. Key 110611 also checked behind. The turn is an ace. Again, I didn't have a pair, and checked, with the intention of folding should my opponent bet. He checked again. The river is a 10, which paired the board up. The fact that my opponent checked on the flop and on the turn means that his hand is not strong at all, and usually means no pair or a very low pair. Still, there is no reason for me to bet, because if he has no pair, my King-Jack high is the better hand, and I will win the pot. If he has a pair, he might call my bet, and I would lose money that way. So, checking is the better option. He checked behind and showed King 2 for a better hand, as he made a pair of 2s. It's heads-up poker again. This time it's me versus 777 Geox. I am dealt 7-5 of clubs here. Watch the video, Winning $10,000 in 20 minutes, for a detailed explanation of how to play a heads-up game well. But for now, just remember that the general tactic is to often raise to 2 big blinds or to $400 on the button, and to often fold on the big blind, facing a raise. So here I raised to $400. My opponent went all in for $4,000, and I had no choice but to fold my hand. In this hand, I am dealt 5-4 offsuit, which is quite a bad hand. Facing a raise, I folded this hand pre-flop. In the next hand, I am dealt 4-7 suited, which is not a good hand, but following the general tactic of my heads-up play, I still raised to $400. 777 Geox went all in again. It's $4,200 to call, so I had no choice but to fold. Queen 4 offsuit is a bit of a bad hand, but in a heads-up game, it's not so bad, and I called the raise. It's only investing $200 more for an $800 pot, so it's not such a bad investment. Both of us saw the flop, which read Jack 7-7. I made no pair, just Queen high, and checked. My opponent bet half the pot here, $400. Whenever someone bets on a flop where the board pairs up, he is likely to be bluffing. Since on a paired board like this, it's hard to imagine he has a jack for the top pair, or the 7 for the 3 of a kind. If he has ace high or king high, he is likely to check behind. So when he bluffs, he is likely to bluff with 10 high or worse. Calling $400 to win $800 plus $400 plus $400, which equals a $1,600 pot, I only need to win $400 divided by $1,600, which is equal to 25% of the time. So I called. Another reason for calling is that I have not played with this player before, and I want to see his tendencies. Is he the kind who will give up bluffing on the turn? Or is he the kind who will be firing multiple bluffs? I can only find out after seeing what he does, and I will use this information to formulate the optimal strategy to beat him in the future. The turn is a 5 of clubs. I checked. He bet again, this time $1,200 into a $1,600 pot. Versus a bigger bet like that, I had no choice but to fold. I am dealt king-king this time. Great hand. I raised to $400 like normal. He called. The flop reads 6 ace 4, which is not great. If he has an ace, he would make a pair of aces, which is better than my pair of kings. He checks to me. I checked as well. The purpose of betting is to get called by worse hands. But if I had bet with my pair of kings here, he would have probably folded all the worse hands, thinking I might have an ace for a pair of aces. Or he would call with an ace, which forms a better hand. So there was no point in betting. The turn is an 8. He checked again. Since he has checked twice, it's quite likely he does not have anything strong, meaning he probably does not have an ace here. I could check behind, but I do not want to let him see the river and improve his hand to a better hand than mine for free. Plus, since I checked on the flop, he probably thinks I am quite weak myself, and so if I bet on the turn, he would be more likely to call with a low pair. so I bet half the pot, at $400. To my surprise, he raised to $1,200. This is a situation where it's very tricky to continue playing. It smells like a bluff, given his actions, but all I have is a medium-strength hand. It is easy to play poker when you have a very strong hand. You just need to bet and raise and go all in. It is also very easy to play poker when you have a weak hand. Just fold, facing a bet, or sometimes bluff your opponent. What is hard to play in poker is when you have a medium-strength hand, like in this situation. And this is what separates the good players from the world-class players. Get the rest of this video to learn step by step how to apply world-class decisions in very challenging situations, so that you always have the best chance of winning big money from your opponents fast. After watching this video, you will see how using these exact strategies, I win a crazy profit of over $11,000 in under 10 minutes.